Hey guys, I am Jacob Sanders. I am the new bassist for the Velcro Pygmies. I just wanted to start out by saying thank you to all the people who have left comments, Facebook ads, messages, all this, just welcoming me into the Velcro Pygmies family. It's really meant a lot to me and it's really helped with the transition of everything, and I'm overwhelmed at the love that has been shared towards me so far, and I know this is just the beginning, and I'm more than excited just to be in this family and be a part of this band, and it's only going to get better from here. Also, I would like to just say, Jason Reed, Johnny Depp, thank you for setting me up with this opportunity. I do wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors. I know the type of guy you are. You're going to take whatever you do and you're going to own it. You're going to run with it, man. And more power to you. That is awesome. So a few people have asked how I got my start, got started playing. Years ago, my older brother was hanging out with some musicians and wanted to fit in with them, be a musician himself. So he went out, and at the time I was probably 10 years old, and he bought a Fender Stratocaster and a small practice amp and wanted to learn how to play guitar. And I had always admired my brother. I've always looked up to him. He would always say, though, since I was just a little kid, don't touch my guitar. He would leave for work, and the very last thing he would say before he left was, do not touch my guitar. So, of course, the first thing I did was go take his guitar to the back room of the house and crank it up as loud as I could and make as much noise as I could. And it tried to hide it from him, tried to not let him find out that I was playing his guitar, and he never did for a long time. And my father was a bluegrass player. He was a phenomenal guitarist. Never really respected bluegrass until after I started playing and tried to learn some of his songs and the stuff that he played, and hats off to bluegrass players. That stuff is nuts. But anyways, don't touch my guitar. Dad finally got tired of hearing me saying or just making noise, just saying I was a guitarist and making as much racket as I possibly could on my brother's guitar. So he decided one day he was going to take his 1947 Alvarez Bluegrass Acoustic, which is actually right there, and he was going to start teaching me how to play, so at least I was making something instead of just random noises, acting like a big rock star. And of course, like I said, just 10 years old. And so he started teaching me how to play. I started kind of taking it seriously and all that. And he always told me, if you can learn one song, you can learn a million. That is true. If you really stick with it and just give that drive and have that passion for music as I do, then it's really not hard to just take and run with it. At that point, the sky's the limit. So that was kind of how I got my start, and had some family members that played, and we used to always get together at my grandmother's house every Sunday for Sunday lunch, and we would all bring guitars and sit around and play stuff like bluegrass and southern rock and things like that, so things of that nature. And it was fun. It's a lot of fond memories on that respect, and in all reality got me to where I am today. But have a cousin, Patrick Sanders, that's one of the best banjo players I've ever heard in my entire life, still is to this day. He picked up a guitar and showed me how to play Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. And from then on out, I knew that I was going to be a rock star. That was my song. I was so proud of that song and knew that rock was where I wanted to be. That that kind of was the launching pad for me to just take it and run with it. So throughout the years, I started a few small garage bands with other musicians in the area, and played in a Metallica tribute band for a short period of time, which young teenage years we thought we were the hottest thing since sliced bread. But that was fun. Did actually played in a worship band at a church for a while. Did that, and then as I matured as a musician and started working more towards original music, started writing my own music, and found this passion for writing and this ability to express myself, and can actually, music's such an amazing thing where you may not be the best type of person to be able to express all your feelings and be able to really just say how you feel. A lot of people are scared to just open up, but with music, it's a lot easier to actually push your emotion. You can actually make people feel how you feel through music, and it's the easiest way to relate to someone. It is the universal language. There are bands that tour all over the world that people may not even speak the language that the lyrics of the song are sang in, but through the emotion and the passion that was poured into that song when it was created, they get the vibe, they understand it, and it invokes that emotion into them, and that's amazing. There's no better way to explain it than just sheerly amazing. So I do have a deep passion for music. That has been my biggest hobby and life since I started. It's just been one thing after another. If I wasn't playing, I wasn't happy. That shaped me into who I am today. And then one day, along comes the Velcro Pygmies. I've known Cameron and Chris for quite a long time. Been to a lot of Pygmy shows. Always was that guy that stuck around late to hang out with the band and just get a chance to sit down and talk with them and just kind of share stories. There's nothing more fun as a musician other than being on stage than sitting down with other respectable musicians and sharing road stories. A lot of the stories of being out on the road, most of the general public would never even fathom some of the things that happen on the road. Just crazy, bizarre things that you see. And that's part of the life, and you never know what's going to happen, what you're going to see, who you're going to run into. It's a really small world out there, and it's just fun. That's what I'm wired for, is being on the road and being that musician and having those wonderful stories to tell. So I've spent a lot of time with the Pygmies in the past, and then they came to me and explained to me about Jason Reed and that he was wanting to pursue other things and wanted to take the next step in his life on his own personal fate. And that's awesome. They came to me and said, "Hey, you think you can hang in there?" And I said, "Yeah, I imagine I could." So we got to talking and did a little auditioning, and they told me, it's not about how good you can play. It's about the fire in your heart and the fact that you actually want to get out there and do it and your drive. And I am a very driven person. A lot of people who know me well know that if there is something I'm passionate about as far as music, anything the likes thereof, I don't shut up about it. I can't shut up about it. And that's just how it has to be. With me personally, if I'm passionate about something, believe me, you're going to hear about it and you're going to get tired of hearing about it. And I'm going to apply that passion to the Velcro Pygmies. God help us all, right? But anyways, that's kind of just a little bit about me, just a get to know me session. And we actually have some questions that a lot of you put on Facebook that were questions you would like to see answered by me, and I'm going to go through some of those. Okay. So, Virgil asks, do I like cake? Didn't really get that question to begin with, but I have been informed by some of the other guys that I need to be cautious about accepting cake from Virgil, apparently. So, answer to that, not so sure, buddy. But, okay, now we've got Erica. She says, what did I do before this? Some of my hobbies and previous band experience. Previous bands, I've done a lot as far as just, I come from original music, writing my own music, which I plan to help out with in writing with the Pygmies. They are excellent group of guys, excellent group of musicians. I'm really excited about writing with Chase West, phenomenal guitarist. He blows my mind how good this guy is. So I want to take some of that original background and apply that to the Velcro Pygmies and see where we are. As far as hobbies, something a lot of people wouldn't really probably peg me for is a fisherman. I am an avid angler. I love bass fishing, largemouth, smallmouth, almost any kind of fishing. Love saltwater fishing. Love to fish for shark. I've done bass tournaments. That was a really fun experience. My older brother and I have kind of restored our grandfather's old bass boat and got out there and did some fishing. I am a southern boy. I grew up in Alabama all of my life, and that's where I come from. You can't forget your roots, ever. Okay, so Carrie asks, age, weight, height, everything. I am 22 years old, about to be 23. So my birthday is March 29th. I'm about 6 feet tall, roughly, right on. Um, Weigh about 160 pounds, soaking wet, probably. Um, Blue eyes. That's apparently something uncommon in this band. Um, and that's pretty much me. Um, let's see. Amber asks, how long have I been playing? Who's my inspiration? And if I am self-taught or if I've had lessons. Um, like I said, I've been playing for roughly 13 years. I got my first electric guitar for my 12th birthday. It was a Paul Stanley signature. Guitar player for Kiss. I love Kiss. I've grown up listening to Kiss and love Paul Stanley as a guitarist. Then my father helped me learn to begin with, taught me a few songs, and like I said earlier in the video, I took that and I ran with it. Took that inspiration to do something with music and just really went crazy with it. But no, I actually have never had a formal guitar lesson. So it's all by ear, self-taught, and just getting out there and doing it. So that's pretty much that. Patrick asks, am I an Auburn fan or an Alabama fan? Oh, the dreaded question. I love SEC football regardless of which team. Huge fan of the SEC. I am going to be rooting for Auburn in the national championship this year because I would love to keep it in the state. Respect Auburn football. Gus Malzahn, great program. That being said, roll tide roll. I am in fact an Alabama fan. Live in a house divided. That is a headache, in fact. But roll tide roll. Okay, so Brian asks, my favorite drink, do I burn? And do I mind if cougars grope me? Okay, so first of all, I would have to say my favorite drink, Jack Daniels. Second part of that question, no, I do not burn. However, who doesn't love a good cougar? So, Andrew asks, let's see, why do the Velcro Pygmy bassists always make my girlfriend threaten to leave me? So, that, who doesn't love a bassist? You gotta be at a show to know it. It's just that pounding in your chest when there's a bass player up on stage doing his thing, and it makes your heart flutter. So that may be the reason, maybe not. Johnny Depp, great looking guy. Hopefully I can fill those shoes. So you had mentioned New Year's resolution being getting bass lessons for this year. Okay, so Megan asks, favorite band, guitarist or bassist? That is it's an incredibly hard question to ask a musician who his favorite band per se is. Obviously have a lot of favorites, a lot of inspiration. A lot of my inspiration comes from Motley Crue, Poison, and probably my favorite bassists are Nikki Sixx, Duff McKagan. Of course, everyone looks up to Victor Wooten. phenomenal bassist. And guitarists, on the other hand, some of my favorites are Zach Wilde, Mick Mars, DJ Ashba, Slash. Um, those guys, just the soulful, bluesy kind of players. I've always loved those emotional players because they they have the ability to use their guitars to talk to you. Of course, there are no words, but when you hear their guitar riffs and their guitar licks, you feel exactly how they feel. They're great enough musicians to invoke that emotion with their music and just make it happen. Um, it's always great when you can relate to a guitarist or a bassist and his life just by listening to what he plays. To me, that's what it's all about. Okay, so see, Craig asks my favorite kind of pie, and also how to replace a legend like Johnny Depp. Um, to start off, I want to say I would never try to take away from Johnny Depp. He has laid out a long and winding road for me to follow. Um, I don't like to look at it as me replacing him because what he has done in this band will stand strong for years and will always be in people's heads, and the memory of him in this band will always live on. Um, and that gives me a lot to live up to, but I see it as a new chapter. It's a new era for the Velcro Pygmies. Things will be a lot different without him, and hopefully I can fill those shoes. I myself am confident that I will, and hats off to Johnny Depp. Great guy. Um, so, Murray asks, how does it feel to be a part of the Velcro Pygmies family? Wonderful. Um, I have never experienced a such a large mass of people sharing their love and overall welcome with me. Um, it's we're just getting started, and there's hundreds of people that are coming to me and saying, "Hi, welcome to the family," and looking forward to seeing you. Can't wait to meet you. That to me is so heartwarming and amazing that I can't wait. And I know getting out on the road and doing this is going to bring that to an all new level as well. So, once again, thank you to the whole Velcro Pygmies family, every single person that has came to me and welcomed me the way you have. It really means a lot to me. Okay, so that leads to the next question. Keisha asks, are you nervous about meeting all of the Velcro Pygmies fans? I've met quite a few. The Velcro Pygmies have a unique fan base in how much the fans actually care about the members of the band, and I'm more excited than nervous. Can't wait to meet each and every one of you. Do not at all feel scared to approach me. Tell me your story, who you are. I would love to know, love to meet everybody. And yeah, just come tell me who you are. I'd love to meet you. So Mindy asks, do I read music or play by ear? Um, she also asked, are you nervous or excited about your first show? This much nervous, this much excited. Um, can't wait. I've been going over the songs, and Chase and I have done a lot of rehearsing, and it's gonna rock. It's gonna be awesome. I'm more than psyched about it. And as far as reading music, I have actually never took the time to learn how to read music. I have studied on a bit of music theory. I know my way around theory, but as far as reading sheet music, not the slightest clue. I've never necessarily needed to. I would like to one day learn how to read music. Um, but as of right now, no, not the slightest clue. Um, of course, I can read guitar tablature, which very easy. Whoever invented that deserves an award. Really easy way to learn how to play guitar, learn how to learn songs, whatever. Good way to preserve songs that you've written yourself as well. But for the most part, I've learned to play by ear. Sitting down with a boombox when I was a child and just hearing stuff and playing it until I played it right, or at least really close. Um, and it worked out well for me. You always have to trust your ear more than what's on paper any day. So definitely play by ear. Russ asks, what do I think of Tal Wilkenfeld, if I pronounced that even close to right? Um, to be honest, I didn't really know who she was at first. Looked her up and watched some of her stuff, and realized that in fact we are a lot alike in the respect that I don't wear a bra on stage either. um, so we do have that in common. But no, she is a phenomenal bassist. She does things that I couldn't dream of doing with the bass guitar. So hats off to her. Mindy asks again, what kind of music do I listen to? That, everything. I will personally not be closed-minded enough to say that there is any genre of music that I do not like or will not listen to, because with that, if you are so closed-minded that you say, oh, I do not like this genre or I do not like this era, you are ruling out hundreds of thousands of phenomenal musicians that are the best in the business at what they do. So if you can't have a respect for someone being the best at what they do, then you need to broaden your horizons. There's a lot more out there than what most people perceive. You just really have to have a passion and a respect for music and get out there and see what you can find. And I mean, your local scene. Some of the best musicians on earth may not have the opportunity or whatever to actually get out there and catch their break and make it to the limelight, if you will. And there are, again, hundreds of thousands of musicians that have never been heard of. So I'm a very strong supporter of local music. Get out to the bars and the venues and the open mic nights and karaoke and all of those things, and just see what you can find. Hundreds of diamonds in the rough out there that are looking for a fan base, and I would love to see that supported more. That's the questions. That's about me. So I'm very excited to get to meet everyone, and I'm more than thrilled for this opportunity, and I'm ready to go. I'll be seeing everybody at all these shows. Like I said before, come up, introduce yourself, get out there and tell me who you are. Like I said, I would love to hear your stories, where you come from, where you've been. And thanks for all the welcomes, guys. But that's about it. I look forward to seeing you, and I look forward to meeting you. Thanks, guys.